It is time, Stephanie, for another day. Another game.
Oh, I have to live another day?
Wait, did we finish the trial? Fuck. We didn't finish the trial. It's another day. Right, we're doing another round of testimony. This was the right. This is the beginning of another testimony. I keep thinking we're done and it's time for the third investigation.
I had to dip last time because I had to go to sleep because I worked at 4 a.m. the next day or something.
Game long.
Yeah, you know, lifelong too.
I remember when we first started this game, especially when the
many moons ago,
the tutorial gave me like a false impression. I was like, oh yeah, like in an ideal world, it probably won't work with 30-minute episodes, but like in an ideal world, you do like one episode per case, maybe like a nice little coherent like arc, or maybe like one episode per phase of case or something.
Oh, you fool!
But now it's one day of trial, or especially one investigation can take like 6 hours. It's like, all right, cool. I was looking through my old comments on YouTube, and there was one that was like, all right, wow, this game's probably wrapping up soon, so when's the Patreon vote gonna happen? Because they thought we'd already finished recording the entire game by now, because it seemed like it was reaching the ending or whatever. That comment was 3 weeks ago.
Oh, my dear.
This is a significantly long final case.
Well, you know.
My God.
For those of you sticking around for the long run, kudos to you.
Yep.
Love you.
No, they're fucking insatiable. They're like, when are you gonna play the sequel?
Love you guys.
Those people that want us to immediately go to the sequel, I'm like, we might die.
I mean, I like, you know, as long as they don't like mind my like my cynicism in regards to like the writing of this game and like my bitter, like sometimes I'm just like salty as fuck. But I mean, if that's enjoyable for them, then that's good. That means that they could probably hang out with me in real life and be okay. That's my day to day. Full of salt, down in the salt mines forever.
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence.
Okay, so...
Why does the detective have a second identical costume that he could, like, steal and use?
I was gonna say, like, what...
Is he like
if
Dexter from Dexter's Lab? He just has one lab coat, like 50 copies of it in his closet. It's like Steve Jobs.
To dress up like me, or I was gonna say B-movie, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, yellow and black, I'm gonna switch it up today, and he puts on a black and yellow sweater. Yeah. He's a bee! But,
that's what Steve Jobs did, supposedly. I think he had an entire closet of the same turtleneck.
Gosh, that would kill me.
Because he somehow thought removing that choice from his life made his, like, freedom up or something.
Yeah, I wonder what someone would wear if they wanted to pretend like they were me. I'm just trying to think of how I would dress them. Very interestingly, that's for sure. But, yeah, so this guy, or we just like, crushed this guy and proved that he was the man dressed up as Goodman, and so now he's starting his testimony as to why that would be.
Yeah. Here's the crime I did. I'm just gonna admit to it.
Yeah, let's see how he explains this one, because
doing the justice system. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. The one camera. The one camera in the entire police station, as we verified. Because otherwise, if there was just a door pointing at like the door of the evidence room, you couldn't like dodge it. But there's no other cameras in the entire police station, apparently. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Finally, we cleared that up, because that was hanging over our heads forever. We knew that was true, but no one else did.
Yep. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand.
What a twerp. Twerp is like the exact word.
My guess is he's the donor. A lot of blood. Like too much blood for a hand cut.
Yeah,
it is just an evidence room, though. Like, who knows? So someone dropped the blood bag. Whoopsie daisy.
I don't think I can keep a blood bag in an evidence room.
They just like half mop it up, but not well enough to get rid of it. It's way too much blood for such a small donation. Donor. All right, let's press. First of all, why did you have to do it that day? I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die.
Yeah, elaborate on that. I think he means the case, obviously.
When you say it, you mean... That's not the important part of the question, Phoenix. It. Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. I'd like to introduce you to the statute of limitations. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can go through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. So he genuinely, yeah, because this whole situation relies on him not even understanding the locks. So somebody left it open for him, presumably on purpose. It wasn't a coincidence, I presume. It'd be weird if it was a coincidence.
Yeah, I guess I'll
Like this
repeat
sort of-
it again. I have no clue how he got this far deep into this plan without knowing what the lock system,
Yeah.
especially being the security guard.
I'm of course infinitely suspicious of the sheriff.
Oh yeah, Gant
Yeah.
is definitely in on this.
Typing in translate Gant. Translate from French. Glove.
Oh my god.
Thanks, Google Translate. Alright. I just typed Gant into Google Translate and the number one, and it says like, do you mean French? And then it just said glove.
Wow. Well, any doubt I had that he was involved in this is gone. Not that I had any anyway. It literally.
And I had a question about gloves. That could not have gone better.
Can I please bring that piece of evidence up to the stand, because that seems pretty damning.
His name is Perpetrator.
His name is Guilty.
His name is Perpetrator in Italian.
Well, that proves it to me.
Oh no. Thank you for reminding me what his name was. Because I didn't remember his name in the moment. And then it was like Gant. I was like, I wonder, we never found a pun for that. I'm like, I wonder if it translates.
I can't forget the name Gant because I keep looking over your bookshelf and see Gants all the time. The manga Gants with a Z. I was like, so I keep thinking about Gant.
Oh yeah, I have Omnibus 1 of Gantz, which is that's the manga where a bunch of people all get teleported into this one waiting room together, and then they just like meet each other, and then they get teleported into like a combat scenario where they have to like defeat an alien that's trying to destroy the world. And then if they die, they die. But if they win, then they go back to the normal life again for like a few more days, and then it happens again. And it just
What a hell.
over and over again. They just have to keep defending the world in these weird teleport scenarios. And sometimes there's a dog, and sometimes it's like an old lady, and sometimes it's children, and so on. And it's just a mess, and it's like really violent. And
I know it's on my list of ones I want to look into
and
for
the monsters
sure.
are just distressing. And it's like, huh. This is an idea. This is certainly a premise. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? Because it ruined his career? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
I'd like to point out again, you are the security guard. I really feel like it would be very easy for you if you think that there are no locks on these lockers, which you do because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You could just walk in there and take whatever the fuck you want because you're the security guard and you can say, I didn't see anyone go in there. Also, I deleted the footage. Why would you even have to bother dressing up?
Yeah, this entire plot doesn't make any sense to me.
You could.
Yeah, he runs that entire part of the place, and he somehow doesn't know that there's fingerprint locks. So that doesn't factor into his plan. And he controls the footage because he keeps deleting it every 6 hours. So there'd be no evidence that he did anything.
You just take the stuff, you put it in your pocket. If anyone asks what you're doing in there while you walk out, just say, oh, I was cleaning it.
Also, your ID
because that's my
number
job,
would match
probably.
your face if you weren't in disguise. Like,
Yeah.
does Meekins really know that that's Goodman's locker?
Yeah, in fact, Meekins would not give two fucks. If you walked in there and the cowboy was in there dressed like the cowboy, and he was like, oh,
And it's the guy who
hi,
works
Meekins,
there.
I work here.
Yeah.
Meekins would be like, all right, that's definitely you. You match your own ID card. I'm not going to ask any other questions. And then you just leave.
He's like a
Meekins
textbook
is a
case of
twerp.
overthinking it, where he just overcomplicated this so extremely. But also, somehow everyone was convinced that a murder took place when no murder took place. How was there? How did they ever like file that there was a murder when no one got killed? Like, who reported the murder? No one witnessed a murder. No one found a body. Why is there a supposed second murder in the first place?
If anything,
None of the things that make a murder exist. There wasn't even a missing person.
if anything, it'd just be easier to tie it into the other case and say,
Yeah.
oh, this officer got in a fight with the security guard, went missing, and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Whoops, what's that about? And then
But
just look the other way.
Instead, these insane people's conclusion is that there was two murders of the same person somehow, even though murder A, the one that at the police department, we'll call it, has no body, no witness of a murder, and there's also no missing person to explain with a murder. There is at most a scuffle.
Yeah. Just call it that. And then just forget about the murder part.
There was never a murder. Like, from no perspectives was there ever a murder. Not even from Meekins' perspective was there ever a murder.
Well, I
He's
might
the
have
only
done it. I
witness.
don't know. I'm a twerp. I don't
Instead,
know.
he got put in jail for murder, even though he just defended himself, and he's a cop. And there also wasn't a murder, and there's no body. But he was in jail for it. He was in jail for this not murder that didn't happen. These people are fucking insane. This entire universe, the setting, everyone in it, they're fucking deranged. This fucking Phoenix Wright universe is full of crazy people. I swear to God. They're gonna put him in jail for nothing. Nothing happened. There wasn't even a crime to frame him for.
I was talking to my brother. I was visiting my brother yesterday, and we're talking about like our greatest fears. And I was thinking about Phoenix Wright a little bit, and I was like, getting committed of a crime and like going to jail for it even though you didn't do it, and having no idea what the crime even is, or like I was thinking of like Franz Kafka style, like the trial bullshit. And this is exactly what Phoenix Wright is. At any moment you could be living your life and then be accused of murder and basically almost go to jail if Phoenix Wright doesn't save you. Like that's scary.
I totally get the narrative of being accused of a murder that exists and being framed for murder that exists. But he was just getting framed.
You can go to
for
jail
something
for a
that didn't
murder that
happen.
didn't even happen. That's how scary this universe
What the
is.
fuck?
This is a scary ass place to live. Your whole anyone can go to jail for anything.
Everyone's an idiot in this universe because this guy was dressing up in a fucking Halloween costume to fool a camera that he has control over the footage of. Like, he can just delete the footage.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like got seen by a fellow police officer, and instead of playing it cool and be like, oh, hey, Meekins, he's like, I have to kill him.
Instantly.
It's the only way.
This is scary, dude. This is hell.
And we'll see about his testimony from here on out, but he hasn't. I don't think he's even really testified a reason for why he even needed to cover up what he was doing.
No.
He just went in to look at the thing at most, like.
Well, he's not allowed to be
kill.
looking at it because he's not the officer for that locker. But Meekins would not have known that. Meekins would not have cared.
Yeah.
And like, I don't get what you're trying to cover this up for, buddy. I wonder if that means he has no relation to Gant at all. He doesn't know that Gant was helping him, and he's not if what the cowboy's saying is true, he's doing this for his own motives and has nothing to do
Did
with Gant.
Gant play some 4D chess to convince him to do it?
Maybe.
With like, in the power of suggestion, like he just kind of like made him feel like that's what he wanted to do, but he was like orchestrating it because he's the super genius with the super beard.
Either that or they're lying about working together, but I actually believe this cowboy is such an idiot he doesn't know about the law.
He seems like the worst idiot.
So I'm gonna say that he doesn't know that Gant's helping him. Even though I know Gant's helping him because his name's fucking Glove. So, just saying.
So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor of the prosecutor's office parking lot.
It's actually a smart place to leave it. If you stole it and you want to return it, you just throw it on the ground, he'll find it.
Well, yeah, because he threw it at the body, basically. Like he was at the crime scene. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall, specifically to be found. So essentially, I can't do his voice anymore. I'm stuck in like a weird like dandy mode or something.
Dandy.
So essentially.
Yeah, Southern hospitality.
Yeah. You managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. No, that's why we're here. Did not succeed. What do you mean, partner? I meant the fingerprint. Activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove had just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Yeah, many times. It was his locker.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, yes.
Before is a wide window.
Yes, it is.
I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins and knocked him out.
Twerp.
The fuck, dude? You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person.
That's what a mean way. Like that's a
Yeah.
That's pretty mean.
Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
Oh my gosh, rude.
When did Edgeworth get so much influence? A corrupt society?
Yes.
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out, and... That's not the same knife.
Yeah.
Really a different knife.
But maybe we're ignoring that.
Yeah, the one on the video has a hilt, because it's probably the one... It's probably the broken one.
I don't know if that's going to end up mattering or not, to be honest.
It just seems noteworthy that this is weirdly broken.
Well, I was going to say, that's really broken. I don't think it's that one. That one it was not broken looking in the tape.
But maybe it got broken.
Well, I think it was broken from the last crime.
It's got blood on it.
Blood?
There's a lot of knives in play. We have 2 knives in evidence that aren't his. It's a lot. And managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. So you did your research beforehand. He works there, Phoenix. Those who got into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I don't think it would make much of a difference, though. The security tapes erased every 6 hours. If all had gone to plan, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. Jackass. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? Why didn't you just lock the door?
Yeah, he was he was knocked out. What do you think he was doing, Phoenix? You saw the footage. He was like on the floor.
What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Or was there? Is this all an elaborate cover-up over the fact that Goodman died there? But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates the crime took place. I still think that's what happened. Is Goodman died in that room? They did some kind of setup to like explain that. Oh, it was actually this bizarre non-murder dumb thing that happened.
You think that he actually did die in that room and they moved him?
I think that all of this evidence is tampered with because they have complete power over the situation, and they're hiding the fact that Goodman died in there, and that's why there's blood.
Oh, yeah, I guess they keep mentioning the fact that there's a lot of blood for the crime, or like for the current explanation. Yeah, you know what? Maybe this whole thing is maybe
He's also like too stupid for it to be real. It feels like his level of stupid and how convenient his plan is and how absurd it is feels like it was all planned.
You know what? You're probably right. That seems so. I mean, I was gonna say that, like my brain didn't immediately go to that because of like Occam's razor, and that seems like a million times convoluted.
But that's exactly.
But that's what this game is. Yeah, that's what this game is.
Also, Meekins was sent in there. He didn't just happen to go in there. He was sent in there, remember?
That is true. Yeah.
So it's all planned. Like, Meekins isn't in on it.
So
probably was.
So our hypothesis now is that Goodman actually got murdered in there, and they set up this whole fake scuffle to like imply a fake murder that did not happen. Yeah,
because we'd like catch wind of a murder supposedly happening in this room, but then we'd like get distracted by this stupid fake case. Then once we disprove that, we'd be like, well, I guess there wasn't a murder in that room, and then we move on with our life. But then
I say, if that's the case, then what's the benefit of us finding Goodman's body in the parking lot? Like, it almost seems like, you know, does no one know how to hide bodies in this universe? Like, just, you know, you bury them or something, you could, you know.
Well, I think they want us to give up on investigating the evidence room where the real murder took place.
And switch over all of our
because then all that will be left. Is when they indicated this a minute ago, too. Like, if we disprove this murder, then all we're left is, then Lana killed him. Which is what they want. Well, they probably wanted Edgeworth, but like, yeah, like. But
I think Lana's taking the bullet.
Yeah, if we fuck up at investigating this particular case, then we get stuck with it. Just like, well, then he got murdered over there in the parking lot, then, which is what they want.
Yeah, but I mean, these people could still be involved in that murder. I mean, I'm like.
But they want us to believe the parking lot murder.
Yeah, no, I understand because over on that side, our only evidence we have is all focused on Lana.
Yeah.
When in a real life situation, you would question all the people closest to him, so that the murder taking place in the parking lot would not affect anything because these people would still be on trial for being like possibly involved in it.
Edgeworth also continues to be like 5,000% suspicious.
Yeah, which everyone's just kind of ignoring, but whatever.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. I like how I caught out really quickly that it was him just because of the facial hair.
He has little lines, like you said, the anime lines.
Like, they have to give us like hyper anonymous people all the time. They have to give us like anonymous mannequin men, basically, or like the flashbacks will reveal too much information that only we get that nobody in the universe sees because it's not a real picture. That's why you get those like hilariously anonymous looking like people shooting each other on a boat scenes where it's like, who could these people? I don't know. It's two mannequins are fighting.
Yeah, with no hair whatsoever.
So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone, except for the knife you took out of it, seemingly. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. But why? Those are really thin heels. Yeah, they're also brighter than the rest of his shoe.
Yeah, click clack, click clack.
Something's weird about that. He put rhinestones on them.
Rhinestone cowboy.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Is that the case? You're kind of on trial.
You can plead the fifth, technically.
Do they have the fifth?
Oh, I don't know if this universe has the fifth.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself.
Sad music.
This will have serious consequences. This is going on your permanent record.
Ooh, Principal Edgeworth, uh-oh.
It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
I hope not. Jesus Louise, but you know that...
Not that salary cuts.
Calorie cuts.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Yeah, thank you, Phoenix, for addressing the fact that police officers just give salary cuts instead of actual, like, consequences for things.
Yeah. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. That's not how this works.
No, you can't just take it over.
And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
Zeal. What a word. He looks like Uncle Sam.
Oh, the pointing? Yeah, but he's pointing with 2 fingers.
Pow pow.
Isn't there a whole thing where it's supposed to be like, it's like politer to point with 2 fingers or whatever? Oh, he's also making a gun.
Well, because 1 is more accusatory, 2 is like, is kind of like, but it's like C is Space Cowboy, some like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? I had a feeling it would wind up here sooner or later. Is it because of all the clear indicators, Phoenix, and how we keep saying it every 30 seconds? Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. What? It's a good time to save, just so we don't do all that again. Okay. So now we need to present evidence because we've already done everything. It's probably that last one because he just straight up said, like, I can't forget that SO9 incident. You know why? Alright.
Yeah, what, like, and then you have... Oh, he's like asking you for evidence at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to figure out which which page probably is the answer.
Marshall, Neil Marshall,
his
yeah, remember?
His dad was a victim.
I think that's it, to be honest.
So page 2, victims. This isn't really an objection, Phoenix. It's just answering a question, you weirdo.
I'm gonna answer every question with objection! And then my answer.
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Why?
Cactus juice doesn't make you drunk, as far as I know. Maybe it does.
I have the SL9 incident file right here. The name Marshall is mentioned here. In a list of murder victims. We don't even have to say what it is. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of that name. 2 years ago.
Oh, he's cute.
He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. Is his brother? He looked young.
Yeah, he did look young.
Wait, a prosecutor? You must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Why did that make you sweaty? Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Now you remember.
Yeah, that wasn't... How long ago was that?
It was only 2 years ago.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It was featuring one of your own coworkers
peers
was murdered, and you were the prosecutor on the case.
Yeah, you should.
It was his case.
That's a very good point.
That's why they're mad at him. It was his case, and his coworker died. And he's like, oh, now I remember.
Oh, yeah. If anything, that would make you more pissed off. It's if he, like, barely remembers something so important
what's
to
your
you.
deal?
I'm aloof.
He handled the SL9 case before I did. He died during it, apparently? Was he investigating a serial killer that got murdered by the serial killer?
That happens.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
And you fucked it up.
But what's his relationship to you? Wait, that's his hair?
No. We always knew it was his hair. I
thought he was wearing a towel under his hat.
No, we had a conversation about this before.
Confusing
where I was upset about his hair, but I knew it was his hair. But I was like, it's stupid how they do it.
I was continually convinced that he was wearing like a towel under his head.
No, because we had a conversation about this, and that's exactly what we said. But I was like, no, that's his hair.
That hair looks
We decided
wrong.
that it's his hair. I know.
That looks so wrong.
I know.
Something looks confusing about it.
Well, it's too uniform.
Yeah, it is like a perfect continuous color.
And I don't think it's not. Like, they use just lines to draw his eyebrows and his facial hair, so his eyebrows and his facial hair are darker than his hair is, because the inside's colored with gray.
Yeah.
So it's confusing. Like, and granted, I can't talk because I grow blonde hair, but I have black eyebrows.
It's like, I feel like
I'm Norwegian.
There's like something confusing about the color choice, too. I don't know what, it's like, it's almost purpley.
Yeah, it is like purpley.
It's a kind of weird shade where it looks like not hair.
I like his brother more. His brother's cooler looking. I like his little spiky, his little like
That's
smirk.
what everyone always tells him. It's why you can't forget the SL9 case. I liked your brother more.
Yeah, like, wouldn't that be a mean thing? Like, someone
It
dies.
should have been you.
Yeah, at the funeral, it's like, your mom's like, I liked the other one more.
People just come up to you and they're like, oh yeah, sad what happened to your brother. I always liked him.
More than you.
Anyway. And then that's all you ever talk about is your dead brother, and they never like care about what's up with you.
That's why Salvador Dali ended up so weird, because I guess his brother died before he was born, and his mom just like never stopped talking about how much she like wanted him to be him instead, and so he had this weird complex, and he would like paint portraits of what his brother would look like and stuff.
Jesus.
Because he had this. Yeah, don't do that to your kids. It's not nice.
Well, they'll melt clocks.
Yeah.
He was
And
my
make beautiful
brother.
art. So maybe you should do it to your kids, because you make beautiful art out of it.
Oh no.
No, just kidding. Not nice.